Why do you get angry so easily? Why does a single insult, a careless remark, or a whisper of gossip have the power to ruin your entire day? Have you ever noticed how quickly you defend yourself, how desperately you argue, only to realize later that you gave your enemy exactly what they wanted? What if I told you your anger isn't strength at all, but the clearest proof of your weakness? Pause for effect. Here's the truth Machiavelli understood centuries ago. The man who can be provoked is already defeated. The man who cannot be moved, cannot be touched, that man is feared. Most people hate hearing this because it stabs at their ego. They imagine themselves strong, independent, untouchable, yet watch them under pressure. One insult cuts them open, one betrayal shatters them, one rumor poisons their confidence. Their emotions are not their own. They belong to whoever dares to pull the string. And that, Machiavelli would say, is slavery. Power does not belong to the loud. It does not belong to the one who shouts when mocked or trembles when betrayed. Power belongs to the one who does not move when tested, the one who refuses to flinch when provoked, the one who stands like stone while the herd screams around him. That man is rare. That man is feared. This is the discipline of indifference. Picture yourself in a crowded room. A rival sneers, hurling a public insult meant to humiliate you. Every eye turns to see what you'll do. The average man bristles, his face reddens, his voice cracks as he scrambles to defend himself. The crowd sees it, the insult deepens, and his dignity is gone. But the Machiavellian man, he does not answer. His face remains still, maybe even carved, with the faintest smirk. The silence grows heavy. Suddenly the aggressor looks desperate, begging for a reaction that never comes. Without lifting a finger, you have already won. Silence humiliates more than fury ever could. Most men are slaves to words. A whisper of gossip poisons their mood for days. A harsh remark eats at them until they lose sleep. Praise inflates their ego, and criticism crushes it. They are tossed back and forth by other people's opinions, powerless as leaves in the wind. But Machiavelli knew the truth. Words are nothing but appearances. They cost nothing. They are air. And yet they topple the weak because the weak allow them to. The insult itself is powerless. It only gains life through your reaction. Rage at words, and you confess their truth. Defend against them, and you hand victory to your enemy. Brood over them, and you let them live long after they were spoken. The Machiavellian man is immune. He does not bend under insult, nor does he rise under praise. He knows both are chains if he needs them. His worth is his own decree, not a public vote. Now ask yourself honestly, how many times have you surrendered sovereignty? How many hours have you wasted replaying insults in your head? How many times have you begged for validation, defended yourself to fools, or erupted in anger, only to realize you handed power to someone beneath you? Every time you crack, you show the world that your emotions do not belong to you, that anyone clever enough to provoke you can own you. What kind of ruler does that make you? Here is the brutal truth. No one can make you angry. They can only present a stimulus. What happens next is your choice. To react impulsively is to confess weakness. To choose your response is to declare supremacy. Outrage is not power. Outrage is exposure. Because when you rage, when you slam fists, when you spit fury, you are not intimidating anyone. You are informing them. You are handing them a blueprint of your vulnerabilities. Now they know what words break you. Now they know what tone unravels you. Now they know exactly how to control you. The herd thinks anger is strength. In reality, anger is predictability, and predictability is death to power. The Machiavellian man is different. His emotions obey him. They may flare, but they never march without his command. He waits, he watches, he calculates, and when he finally moves, it is deliberate and devastating. Consider the CEO facing investors. The insecure one shouts, scrambles to justify himself. His company bleeds credibility, but the Machiavellian CEO sits calm as stone. He waits. Then he speaks with precision, and everyone leans in. Or consider politics. A rival launches vicious attacks. The weak politician responds defensively, bleeding credibility. The Machiavellian remains silent, letting the rival expose his own desperation. Weeks later, results speak louder than rebuttals. The attacker is forgotten. The silent one is remembered. Even in relationships, the same holds true. When provoked, the average man snaps, spiraling into chaos. The Machiavellian does not. He refuses to be baited. His calm forces the other to collapse under their own rage. This is why Machiavelli warned, passion is the enemy of calculation. A ruler who lashes out reveals fragility. A ruler who remains calm inspires fear. So let me ask you again, when insulted, will you rage like the herd, or will you remain silent, terrifying everyone with your composure? When betrayed, will you wallow in self-pity, or will you shrug, unmoved, as if you already expected it? When mocked, will you explain yourself, or will you let the noise rot in the air unanswered until your silence crushes it? Most men will never master this. But you are here because you are different. You are here because you want to be feared, not provoked. This is the first step toward sovereignty. Before we continue, subscribe to Ruthless Psychology and join a community of those who refuse to be owned, who dare to see the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. Because this isn't philosophy for dreamers, this is a weapon for rulers. Why do you expect loyalty from others? Why do you assume honesty will be met with honesty, that respect will always return to you? Think carefully. How many times has reality already proven you wrong? The weak man clings to this delusion. He believes the world will mirror his values. He expects his friends to stay loyal because he is loyal. He expects allies to be honest because he is honest. And when betrayal comes, as it always does, he collapses, he rages, he sulks, he mutters the same pathetic words. I would never have done that to him. But the world does not care what you would do. Machiavelli saw the truth centuries ago. Men are not noble. They are not consistent. They are driven by self-interest, by fear, by desire. They will lie, betray, and abandon, not because they are evil, but because it is in their nature. And if you expect otherwise, you deserve the pain that follows. Imagine two men. The first trusts blindly. He believes in loyalty as if it were a law of nature. He reveals secrets, assumes promises will be kept, and builds his strength on illusions. Inevitably, betrayal strikes. His secrets are sold, his allies vanish, and his power collapses. He curses fate, but the truth is, he doomed himself the moment he trusted. The second man, the Machiavellian man, expects betrayal. He assumes allies are self-serving. He gives little, reveals less, and always prepares for disloyalty. So when it arrives, he does not panic. He does not rage. He already accounted for it. He shrugs, adapts, and moves forward unshaken. Which man would you rather be? When you expect loyalty, betrayal destroys you. When you expect betrayal, loyalty surprises you. This is the Machiavellian reversal that makes you untouchable. The herd weeps when disappointed. The strong man expected it all along. He is never blindsided, never disarmed. His strength rests not on fragile ideals, but on cold clarity. And clarity is a weapon. Now consider criticism. Most people bleed under harsh words. A single remark about their work, their appearance, their choices, and they spiral into self-doubt. They defend themselves endlessly, desperate to clear their name. They think they are protecting their reputation. In truth, they are proving their weakness. Machiavelli understood that criticism is inevitable. Enemies will hurl it to weaken you. Allies will whisper it to restrain you. And the herd will repeat it because their minds are too dull to think for themselves. To fight every word is futile. You waste energy. You amplify the insult. You reveal insecurity. The Machiavellian man does something different. He listens with indifference. If the criticism is false, it is beneath him. If it is true, it is useful. Either way, he wins. The weak man spends sleepless nights brooding. The strong man takes the lesson, sharpens himself, and discards the noise. This is the difference. Weak men react, strong men extract. Think of a modern battlefield, business. A young executive is mocked in a meeting. He stammers, tries to defend his idea, and the mockery grows. His authority dies. Another man presents the same idea. He is mocked too, but he doesn't flinch. He does not explain. He does not rage. He waits. He executes quietly. Months later, his results crush the laughter. The mockers are forgotten, and he stands victorious. Which man do you want to be? Silence is not absence. Silence is dominance. Picture a politician under attack. His opponent insults him publicly, waiting for a reaction. If he fires back, the debate spirals into mud. If he stays silent, calm, untouchable, the opponent looks desperate, loud, childish. The crowd shifts. They respect the one who stayed above the noise. This is why Machiavelli wrote that rulers must appear composed even in turmoil. Appearance becomes weapon. Rage makes you look fragile. Silence makes you look dangerous. And uncertainty, what is he thinking? What will he do? Creates fear. Now ask yourself, how many times have you given away this kind of power? How many times have you cracked in anger, feeding your enemy the satisfaction of watching you lose control? How many times have you clung to grudges, dragging ghosts through your life long after they lost relevance? How many times have you fought to prove yourself right, wasting hours arguing with fools who never deserved your words? The truth is brutal. You chained yourself. You surrendered your sovereignty again and again. Indifference is liberation. Detach from betrayal, and treachery loses its sting. Detach from criticism, and words become tools instead of weapons. Detach from arguments, and you conserve energy for results. This is why Machiavelli's wisdom is timeless. The herd cries about fairness. The ruler expects betrayal. The herd defends against every insult. The ruler grows stronger from them. The herd wastes life trying to be right. The ruler wins not arguments, but outcomes. So the question becomes, will you keep playing the part of the herd, or will you finally ascend into the discipline of rulers? Because here's the promise: if you master indifference, nothing can provoke you again. Insults will bounce off like arrows against steel. Betrayals will reveal information, not wounds. Criticism will sharpen you instead of crushing you. And while others burn alive in their own emotions, you will walk untouched, colder, freer, feared. This is not peace. This is not kindness. This is sovereignty. Do you have the courage to claim it? How many times have you let a stranger on the internet own your emotions? One mocking comment, one sarcastic jab, one post dripping with contempt, and suddenly your mood is destroyed. You spend hours crafting replies, defending yourself, feeding a ghost with your energy, and when it's over, what do you have? Nothing. The attacker moves on, but you remain chained, replaying the insult like a fool. That is slavery. You cannot be sovereign while pixels on a screen command your mind. The Machiavellian man treats this differently. He sees insults online for what they are, traps set by the weak, to drag him down to their level. He does not take the bait. He deletes, ignores, or better yet, leaves the comment untouched, letting silence expose the desperation. The attacker screams into the void, unacknowledged, while the Machiavellian's silence makes him look untouchable. And the crowd notices. One man raging, the other unmoved. Who appears stronger? Who commands the room, even a digital one? Silence is power, even on the battlefield of social media. Now step into the battlefield of relationships. How many people carry grudges for years, clutching them like trophies of pain, a betrayal, an insult, a breakup, relived over and over until it consumes them? They tell themselves they are strong because they refuse to forget. But clinging to pain does not make you strong. It makes you weak. Machiavelli taught that rulers must be guided by necessity, not sentiment. A ruler who clings to rage, who obsesses over grudges, becomes brittle, and brittle things shatter. The ruthless man does the opposite. He remembers only what serves his survival. He notes betrayal, extracts the lesson, then discards the rest. If revenge is useful, he takes it on his terms. If not, he lets the betrayal rot in irrelevance. Either way, he is free, while his enemy remains dust. To hold on is to be owned. To let go is to own yourself. Now imagine a workplace scenario. You present an idea in a meeting. A colleague mocks you in front of everyone. The insecure man flushes red, stammers, defends himself desperately. The mockery deepens. The room loses respect. The Machiavellian man smiles faintly or says nothing at all. He lets the laughter hang. He wastes no energy defending. Instead, he refines his idea quietly, executes it, and weeks later delivers undeniable results. Suddenly, no one remembers the laughter. They only remember the one who prevailed. This is why Machiavelli insisted that truth does not rule men. Perception does. The herd believes the loudest argument wins. In reality, only outcomes matter. Arguments fade, results endure. Now think of politics. One candidate is attacked brutally by his rival. He fires back defensively, begging the crowd to see his innocence. He bleeds credibility. Another candidate faces the same attacks, but he remains calm, silent, detached. He does not stoop to mudslinging. He waits. Weeks later, results emerge in his favor. The rival looks desperate. He looks untouchable. Which one do you respect more? This is Machiavellian indifference weaponized on the public stage. And what about the battlefield of love? A partner lashes out, hurling accusations. The average man shouts back. The fight spirals, both drown in chaos. The Machiavellian man refuses to be baited. He does not collapse. He does not play tug-of-war. His calm turns the storm inward until the attacker exhausts themselves. He remains sovereign, unshaken. Because here is the truth. Every time you argue to prove you are right, you chain yourself to someone else's frame. You let them dictate the battlefield. You let them pull you into the mud. Machiavelli would call this foolishness. Power does not argue, power does not explain, power acts, and in acting it proves itself. Let's sharpen the contrast. The weak man reacts instantly, revealing his weakness, argues endlessly, desperate to be right, clings to betrayal, carrying it like a corpse, begs for approval, shaping himself to others. The Machiavellian man waits, watches, strikes only when useful, refuses to argue. He lets outcomes speak, lets go of betrayal when it no longer serves him, detaches from opinion, appearing untouchable. Who do you think history remembers? But how do you actually train this? How do you transform from the weak man into the Machiavellian sovereign? It begins with discipline. Every insult ignored adds another stone to your fortress. Every criticism studied instead of feared sharpens your blade. Every betrayal expected before it arrives hardens your armor. And then there is the secret weapon, gratitude. Not the soft, sentimental gratitude of the weak, but gratitude as a weapon. Gratitude reframes every attack. An insult? Proof that you're envied? A betrayal? Proof that you've identified an unreliable ally. A failure? Proof that you've found where to fortify. Gratitude starves anger of fuel. It keeps you cold, clear, calculating. Picture this, a man stuck in traffic, late for a critical meeting. The fool slams the wheel, curses, burns with rage. The Machiavellian man, He breathes, he recalculates, he still has options. His calm preserves clarity, and clarity preserves power. Who wins? Gratitude dissolves anger, not out of mercy, but out of ruthless practicality. It keeps you untouchable. So now I ask you, what will you do when provoked next? Will you rage like the herd, exposing yourself? Will you cling to betrayal, dragging corpses through your life? Will you defend yourself endlessly, wasting energy on fools? Or will you wait? Will you let silence wound deeper than words? Will you weaponize criticism, betrayal, and insult until nothing can move you? Most men will burn alive in their emotions, but you can walk through fire untouched. That is the Machiavellian promise. Reputation is the shadow that follows you into every room. It whispers before you speak. It lingers after you leave. And in Machiavelli's ruthless world, reputation was worth more than gold, more than armies, more than laws. A prince who appeared fragile invited rebellion. A prince who appeared unshakable could terrify his enemies into obedience without raising a sword. And what builds this kind of reputation? Not noise, not rage, not constant defense, indifference. Think about it. The man who rages at every insult shows his cracks. The man who scrambles to explain himself proves his insecurity. But the man who remains calm, cold, and silent builds something far more dangerous, an aura. Over time, people begin to whisper. He cannot be rattled. He cannot be moved, and whispers matter. Machiavelli wrote that appearances often weigh heavier than reality. You may feel anger inside. You may feel the sting of betrayal. But if you never show it, if you remain composed, your reputation becomes stronger than your emotions. Your enemies fear the mask they cannot read. Your allies cling to the rock they can lean on. History gives us endless examples. Julius Caesar endured public mockery, yet his calm unnerved rivals. They wondered if his silence meant dismissal, patience, or hidden vengeance. That uncertainty made them cautious. Winston Churchill, during the Blitz, projected indifference to fear itself. London burned nightly under bombs, yet he appeared calm, defiant, untouchable. His aura became Britain's armor. Contrast this with leaders who lacked control. Napoleon, brilliant though he was, often let anger dictate his moves. His outbursts made him predictable and, in the end, destroyed him. Your legacy will be shaped the same way, not by what you feel, but by what you project. Now let's bring this down to your world. In business, the executive who panics under pressure is marked as unreliable. His reputation precedes him. Push him hard, he cracks. From that day on, rivals exploit his weakness. But the executive who remains calm, unprovoked, even under attack, builds the opposite reputation. Don't bother, he doesn't break. Soon, people stop trying to rattle him. He walks into every negotiation with silent authority already on his side. In relationships, the one who never rises to manipulation becomes the anchor others orbit around. When storms come, they do not look to the loudest voice. They look to the calmest. And the calmest gains control. Even among friends, consider the man who never explains himself, who doesn't dance to gossip, who shrugs at rumors. Mystery grows around him. What does he know? What is he planning? And that mystery itself becomes power. Machiavelli understood this secret. Mystery plus indifference equals fear. Fear, he said, is more reliable than love. Love is fickle. Fear endures. And nothing creates fear faster than a reputation for cold composure. Let's put this into scenarios. You're in a heated boardroom. Everyone is arguing, shouting, desperate to be right. You sit silent, composed. The chaos burns out, and all eyes turn to you. You speak once, calmly, deliberately, and the room stills. Your silence made your words heavier than their shouting. Or consider gossip. A rival spreads lies about you, waiting for your explosion. But you say nothing. The lies starve. The rival looks desperate. The crowd begins to wonder, if he doesn't respond, maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe he's above it. Your silence has already crushed him. Or betrayal. A colleague steals your credit. The herd expects you to rage, but you don't. You wait. You act. And when the results come, undeniable and sharp, your silence makes the betrayal irrelevant. He looks small. You look untouchable. Each of these moments builds your reputation. Brick by brick, silence and composure forge your legend, until finally you no longer need to prove anything. Your name itself commands respect. But beware, reputation is fragile. It can take years to build and seconds to shatter. One moment of rage, one slip of control, and whispers spread in the opposite direction. He can be provoked. He can be broken. And once the herd smells blood, they will never stop pressing. This is why indifference must become discipline, not performance. It cannot be a mask you wear occasionally. It must become who you are. Machiavelli warned that rulers who rely on charisma or luck alone are doomed. Fortune shifts, crowds turn, but discipline lasts. Now imagine yourself 5 years from now if you master this art. You walk into a room and the air changes. Your enemies lower their voices, unsure of how to attack. Your allies lean in, trusting your composure. You speak rarely, but when you do, your words weigh like iron. Rivals hesitate. Rumors die in silence. Betrayers shrink before results. You do not chase power. Power follows you. This is the promise of Machiavellian indifference. So the question is this: what do you want your reputation to be? Do you want to be remembered as another man who cracked under pressure, who begged for approval, who wasted himself on arguments with fools? Or do you want to be remembered as the one who could not be touched, who built an aura of cold strength, who inspired both fear and respect through silence and discipline? History remembers both, but only one leaves a throne behind. What truly owns you? Think carefully. Is it your pride, your grudges, the opinions of strangers who don't even matter? If tomorrow every insult you've ever heard vanished, every betrayal erased, every criticism forgotten, how much lighter would you feel? Here's the brutal truth. Most men are not owned by their enemies. They are owned by their own memory. They carry slights, insults, betrayals like chains, dragging corpses through their lives. They think this makes them strong, that holding on to pain makes them warriors. But in reality, they are prisoners. Machiavelli taught that a ruler must be guided by necessity, not sentiment. Anger, if it serves a purpose, can be used. But anger for its own sake is weakness. To hold grudges when they no longer serve you is to live in bondage. To let go is not forgiveness. To let go is strategy. Picture this: an ally betrays you. The weak man spends years plotting perfect revenge, consumed by his obsession. But in the meantime, he paralyzes himself. His life revolves around his enemy. He becomes defined by the one who betrayed him. The ruthless man does the opposite. He notes the betrayal. He extracts the lesson, then he releases it. If vengeance is useful, he strikes at the right time. If not, he discards it entirely. Either way, he is free. He is not chained to ghosts. He carries nothing into tomorrow that does not serve his rise. This is the final mastery of indifference. You own your mind so completely that no one else can live rent-free inside it. Now, step back and see the full picture. Indifference is not about being numb. It is not about being passive. It is about being sovereign. It is about standing so firmly in command of yourself that nothing external, no insult, no betrayal, no rumor can shake your throne. Silence becomes your shield. Detachment becomes your armor. Gratitude becomes your weapon. Letting go becomes your liberation. And together they form the discipline of kings. So let us gather the truths you've learned. Every outburst is surrender. When you rage, you inform your enemies of your weaknesses. Every defense is confession. When you explain, you admit that their words cut deep. Every grudge is slavery. When you cling to the past, you keep your enemy alive inside you. Every attachment to opinion is a chain. When you hunger for praise or fear criticism, you give control to others. But when you master indifference, you cannot be provoked. You cannot be defined. You cannot be broken. This is how fear is born, not through threats, not through noise, but through silence. Through unreadability, through calm so unshakable that others see not a man, but a fortress. Now imagine yourself 5 years from now. You walk into any room and the energy shifts. Your rivals hesitate because they don't know how to reach you. Your allies rely on you because they know you never crumble. You speak rarely, but when you do, your words fall like iron. Your silence terrifies more than another man's fury. You don't beg for love, you don't cling to fairness, you don't live by illusions, and because of that, you rise above them all. That is sovereignty. That is Machiavelli's gift to those bold enough to accept it. But here is the final warning. This path is not for everyone. Most will reject it. They will say it is too cold, too ruthless. They will cling to their emotions because their emotions give them comfort, and they will live and die as slaves. Slaves to opinion, slaves to anger, slaves to betrayal. But a rare few will embrace it. A rare few will accept that fear is stronger than love, that silence is stronger than noise, that control is stronger than passion. Those few will become rulers, not just of others, but of themselves. Which one will you be? So the next time someone insults you, remember, your silence will cut deeper than any reply. The next time someone betrays you, remember, you already expected it. The next time someone criticizes you, remember, their words are either lies to ignore or truths to exploit. The next time you feel rage rise in your chest, remember, to act without calculation is to confess weakness. And above all, remember this. The man who cannot be moved is the man who is feared. This channel, Ruthless Psychology, exists for the rare few who dare to choose this path, who dare to see the world not as it should be, but as it is, who refuse to be owned, and who are ready to master themselves so completely that they master everything else. So, subscribe now and join a community that uncovers the hidden rules of power, control, and influence. Because the day you master indifference is the day you stop being prey and start becoming predator. And when that day comes, the world will not love you. It will fear you.